Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Delve In. It is December 8th, 2020. I'm Loren Molloy, and this is my co-host.
Jessica, how you doing?
And we have a special guest tonight. That is right. We got Tamika Love. Say hi, Tamika.
Peace. Namaste, everybody.
How are you? Thank you so much for being on our show, girl.
Thank you for having me.
Now, before we start, as I always say, please remember, guys, we want you to like the page, click that little notification thing so that when we go live, you get told, because otherwise you're going to go, oh, I missed it and I couldn't comment, because I know you do that. It's okay. I would do it too. Now, please share this video with everybody you can, everywhere you can, because the more the merrier, right? Especially in December. But more importantly, please remember when you are on this video on the Delve In page, when you comment, I get to see it, which means I can make it live for everybody else to see, as well as be able to respond back to you as well as my guest and my co-host. Okay, guys? So that's why it's so important to make sure you're commenting directly on the Delve In live video. All right. So I'll be looking for your comments and putting them up on the screen when they happen. But until that moment, I'd like to take a moment with Tamika.
Hey,
Please tell
Loren.
everybody a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to the world.
Hello, world. My name is Tamika Love, and I am the owner of the House of Touch that is located in South Amboy, New Jersey. I'm a beauty, healing, and wellness center. So I'm all about making you feel really great on the outside, enhancing the outside, but us also diving into that inside, into what's going on with the journey that you're on while we're here. So I am a Reiki Master. I am a licensed esthetician. I am an astrologer. And also, too, I'm about to finish my yoga journey, and I will be a trauma sensitive yoga instructor. So,
that's
all
amazing.
of that underneath one roof. So,
Woot,
yes.
woot. That is awesome. How many hours and time did it take you to do the trauma?
Oh, so that is an extension of being a yoga instructor. So, having that certification was an extra 30 hours.
That is
So
amazing.
so it's really great because a lot of people sometimes just don't feel safe and secure going into some type of different environments. They might have suffered physical injuries, trauma. So I just wanted to sit there and go on that journey and get certified so I can sit there and embark on the journey with people. Just let people know that there's a safe and sacred space, when they come to the House of Touch.
That is awesome.
Nice.
Guys, just so you know, she has an Instagram page. I know it's in the comment section, but I'm actually description section, I should say. Sorry, but I'm going to put it in the comment section. So I guess that was a bit of a Freudian slip, you would say. And that way you can follow her on Instagram.
Yes.
She will be doing much, much more, but we'll talk about that another time. So, Tamika,
Yes.
why don't you tell us a little bit about something you feel that our viewers and the collective might need to know or hear right now? What you feel is something you want to share with us?
Well, we're all, going through a traumatic events with the pandemic going on, and just with the energy that's been, really heavy during 2020. So going into 2021, we're about to enter another huge shift. So I'm just hoping, and I've been praying, I'm putting intentions out there that everybody's been taking this time to really reevaluate their life and where they want their path to go. Not feed, the energy of the negative, but think about, what is this going to bring me as an opportunity?
Ooh, I like that.
So I definitely know that we are going into that. We're in Sagittarius season. Shout out to all my Sagittarius out there. Sagittarius, energy is, looking forward. So that's the way that we need to be looking. We need not to be looking back in the past. There's nothing we could do about it. We're now having to focus on the new normal.
I love that.
Right.
Well, you said something I think is also, I'm going to use a reference that when you said it made me pop into my head. And most know me as a horror director and producer and author. So when I make this reference, it shouldn't surprise everybody. But think of your past as like the moment in Silent Hill where she wants to go running backwards and there's just this black chasm. There's no way of going back. There's nothing there you can even take with you because it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Who you are in this moment is all you got to move forward with. And that is amazing because there's no more baggage from the past, really. It's all in the chasm. Now you just got to let it go and move forward with that. From this point on, I can be turning myself into the 2.0 version of myself because I'm a dork and I always have to have a little nerd reference. Does that seem to make sense? That kind of...
No, absolutely, 100%. We can learn from things from the past, but the thing is that we're here. People need to be present, and that's a lot of what the collective doesn't seem to want to sit there and understand. We need to be looking at where we're at today, be grateful, give gratitude, you know what I'm saying? And then look what is going forward. Because the past, we can learn from those lessons, but a lot of those lessons, I'm pretty sure people don't want to repeat. You know what I'm saying?
I'm done.
So it's time to understand that. Be present with it, understand it, understand, learn from it, and move forward.
I love that.
So...
And before we move forward, I just want to make sure everybody knows that I know they can see me. I am smoking. For those that are new to this show, please understand I am a card-carrying member of the MMJ Club. So I am legally allowed to smoke. And one of the reasons I smoke on the show...
I second that, sister.
is to show you, is to show everybody that the stereotypes aren't correct. I have written 7 books so far, working on my 2nd film. I healed myself through a ton of stuff. This doesn't work with all the past mentality, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I know it's been seen and I wanted to clarify it. Yes. So toxic. All those old beliefs where they're, still shunning and saying it's awful. I actually saw one woman who didn't want the Moore Act to pass because supposedly her son died from dabbing, which is the concentrated and the that's I feel badly for whatever happened to her son, but that's not the reason to hate on all the people that are getting medicinal from it. That's probably not even the full extent of what was going on, but that's what she's focusing on. And the hate that comes from some of these people is unfortunate. And one of the reasons I'm bringing it up on the show is we got to leave those old thoughts in the past. If you want to take a pill and I want to do this and I'm not having seizures and you're not having seizures, but we both have epilepsy, you can do you, I'll do me and mine, you and yours. That should be how we're moving past it. Not let's hate on each other. She found something that's working for her, but I don't want to believe it, or I'm not going to be okay with it because it doesn't work for me. Those are 2 different things. If I tell you that I can do frequency healing and it helps fix my body, and you say you only want to see a chiropractor, well, great. I'm glad you're going to a chiropractor. I want, one of the reasons I'm always putting my smoking on the show, and I love that, Tamika, you're also doing it because, like you said, you're also a card-carrying member. Holla! Is because of how many stereotypes keep going on, especially with the Moore Act. It passed in the House. Now we need it to pass in the Senate. So please, if you're a patient that uses it, if you're recreational user, if you understand why getting it out of the federal system is important, why cleaning and expunging the records of all prisoners who had weed charges being expunged being important, then you need to reach out to the Senate and the major people. I've tagged them on Twitter, I've called them on the phone. I got no problem with it. That's what we need to do, and remind them you need to let this go and start dealing with all the stuff we got going on. The new present of what we got going on. Leave the rest of it in the garbage pail because it wasn't working in the first place. And we got people that are ODing on some hardcore stuff, and we're not addressing all the stuff that's going on with them in the community that's sacrificing.
The hardcore stuff, and even some of the things that, are prescribed to patients, and the longevity of some of the side effects that, people are not educated on.
I'm still suffering from some of them.
So absolutely, being someone that suffers, from having car accidents and having to be on Western medicine because of pain and because of all of the things that went with it, it's the more natural way, cannabis, I tell you, to go. So I am an advocate for it. People just should need to be educated on it. And again, like you sat there and said, leave the past in the past, because it's just the downloads that, people were brought up on why they believe what they believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people are also like afraid if they change their statement. Like if they're like, I used to hate, and now, because quite frankly, I always talk about it. I used to be hardcore, like, no, I'm not trying that. I got enough problems. And then I almost died at 25. My brain was rotted from all the Western medicine they put me on. I was bedridden and I was about to go into a hospice, and I heard a voice say, God didn't say so. So I cold turkeyed everything. That was pain meds, antipsychotics, sleep meds, like I gamut a crazy freaking shit. And then I was having a seizure, and a friend literally blew cannabis smoke into my lungs, and it stopped the seizure immediately. The pain stopped for the first time. Wow. And he's like, I've been trying to tell you for fucking years, And I literally was able to kick opiates that way. I was able to, I'm literally walking, I'm talking, I'm thinking, I have my memory, and I still have some issues with memory recall. Somebody be like, have you ever? And I'd be like, no. And then 3 months later, hey, so it happened. I just recalled it. But that doesn't mean that, my IQ disappeared. So and it's cannabis is the only thing I started doing, plus digging into the emotional issues. That's why, Reiki's so important. That's why I do this show. That's why, I'm always talking to Jess about stuff that I've tried where I was like, it made a difference. Speaking of that, shout out to mushrooms. So we just need to not trip you out, but I need you to look at this label. Guys that know anything about me know that I have a gamut of health issues. I used to. We're leaving it in the fucking past.
That's right.
The one I just started as well.
Ashwagandha.
As well as you guys know that I've been doing the apple cider vinegar pills, which they're across the room.
And apple cider vinegar is really great for your face. That's the esthetician talking right now.
Hello,
like on your face, or would you take it?
Yes, on your face. You dilute it with water. I mean, I used to be a makeup artist. Again, I'm a licensed esthetician, but as I've gotten older, less is more. So I can just pop my lips, if I need to put lashes on, I can. And if I don't have to, I won't. But to take care of my skin, at 46 next month, God willing, that I just use natural products on my face, and I tone my face with apple cider vinegar and water.
I love it.
Nice.
Yes. Totally fucking doing it now. Dude, yes. I'm going to be 37 next October. I have been using some form of anti-wrinkle cream since I was like fucking 19. But I mean, like, mixing stuff. And Mom's like, what is going on in the bathroom? Don't come in. The poop on my face. Because, like, I was super aware of, like, this is what people see. That's all I got. Right. So now I'm going to be like, what are you doing in there? I opened up the pills. I put water and I'm mixing.
Oh, wow. That's a really cool idea.
Right. Yeah. I feel like I'm a little insane, but I'm also the girl that watched Mommy Dearest and then took tips like it was a good idea. She was using a nail
hangers.
She was using a nail brush on her face. So I literally use a nail brush on my body. I don't use it on my face, but I put like body wash and like sugar scrub or whatever, and I take a nail brush and go over my entire body in the shower, and then I come out and I'm like, ouch. But like, ooh. And my mom's like, that's probably not as healthy as you think. Where'd you get it from?
But
I'm like, Mommy Dearest.
Mommy Dearest.
Oh God.
Don't ever take tips from Mommy Dearest.
That is so funny.
And I did, but whatever.
I think that it's sort of the same thing as, what they're doing now. They're doing those microscopic punctures to the face. And you see pictures of these ladies after their session, and it looks like they got road burn.
Oh God.
On their face. But what they're saying is that it's stimulating collagen to repair. So new cells are being formed, which is going to make you look more youthful. So I think that it's similar in theory as far as nail brushing your.
I gotta tell you, yours sounds like a medieval type of torture. Like, I'm gonna go get those aeration spiked shoes and put them on my face.
You gotta see it. It's unreal.
I will be beautiful tomorrow.
I know. Sort of like microdermabrasion, but even worse.
Well, I kind of did that once on accident. I thought if I took frankincense oil straight and just put it directly on my face, it'd be good for me. No, it burns. I had liquid Castile soap, thank God, and I put that in my the Castile soap, whatever that stuff is. Thank God.
I love that stuff.
Because the regular soap made it worse. It was just like, and then
because there's like poison in those regular bars.
No, it wasn't. It was because it was so concentrated. You know, you're supposed to have a carrier oil, and I put it. It was a carrier oil. It's good. Straight must be better, and my face was so red. Thank God. I literally think I gave myself a chemical peel. I was just like, ouch. Mom's like, what happened? Every time I go in the bathroom, I'm sure my mom prays a little bit. Like, what's supposed to come out like this time? What happened? I put oil on my face. Stupid me. It's always like after the fact that I'm like, I knew better. I totally knew better. Carrier oil. I said, fuck it. What? It's called self-sabotaging, folks. I'm not going to do that anymore. Put it in a fucking chasm.
That's me. So I was I was really hanging on to your last bit, Tamika, with the trauma healing yoga. So what are the things that you're learning to do when it gets to that part?
When it comes to the trauma sensitive, it's just creating a space that is just safe and it's sacred and it's, gender fluid. It's a lot of things that people don't realize, that when people go out into certain communities where they just kind of feel like they don't fit in. For me, I have a laundry list of things that where I used to feel like I didn't fit in, places, whether it be, having a physical ailment, so, you look around in a class and you're like, wow, I'm not bending like that, or I'm not meditating, even something as simple as meditating like that, because, I'm here to sit there and talk with people to, figure out what your triggers are so we can work on those things, so you can feel comfortable when you're in spaces, or even when you're just doing it to yourself. Because there was even a time where I didn't want to face the traumas to myself, more or less, face it amongst a group of people.
Right. I think that's a huge battle for everybody, because like we were talking last week on the show, that the strong survive, the weakest fall behind. And I feel like if we feel any type of weakness, we feel that we're less than. So it's difficult to reflect on the inside about the issues that you may have, because nobody wants to believe they're weak, and nobody wants to come to terms with that, because then, and some like me, Miss Procrastinator, if I'm like, oh shit, that's wrong with me, I'm gonna have to do something about it. And it's like, am I going to do something about it or not?
Know if you're a procrastinator, but maybe, sometimes being kind of, we can get into, because I believe like astrology goes hand in hand with, so many things, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I'm always so encouraging and invite people to, learn their astrology. So then we can sit there, tune in and tap into all of the different energies that people have, so they don't feel like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we have to finish that chart, man. Yes. Because I'm at that place where like I feel lost again.
Okay. So we're just going to reel you back in.
Yeah, I need to be reeled in.
Dude, I totally want to be like, okay, here's my rising sign, here's my moon sign, here's my...
Yes. Yeah. And that's what, I'm so excited on working with people, and even just still journeying with myself, because now I'm aligning like my natal energy to my soul energy, You know what I'm saying? You know, when you meet people, what type of energy do people pull out in you? You know what I'm saying? The ones that you need to heal, you know, certain things that trigger you, you know, it's all about being aligned with yourself first. Like, that's how we have to survive now, you know?
So I was talking to Loren before the show about how to replenish the energy that has been taken from you.
That's why I did the ha thing. Thank you for explaining.
Right.
It's just weird otherwise, and it's not my story, so I was just like, I'll just take it. Sorry,
It's
go ahead.
difficult for me to, I don't know where to begin. I understand what self-care is and taking care of myself as a woman and will do things that I enjoy, but is there a way that I can get more energy to replenish my battery without going through a tremendous amount of steps? Like Loren said, she gave me a little session on what to do under the moon and asking for the energy under the moon, or when you're in the shower, asking for that energy through the water.
Okay.
I was wondering what your opinion was, or if you have any tips on how to do it, because some of us don't even know how to do it. And that's the reason why we're always so drained.
Right. Well, as a highly sensitive person, as an empath, as a whole bunch of shit, like a whole bunch of energies, like, you know, I needed to, you know, first off, when I wake up every morning, before I look at an email, before I look at a text message or anything like that, I sit there and I say my morning affirmations, because I'm setting the stage for how my day is going to be. You understand what I'm saying? Because what I had to learn was boundaries, because people can sit there and suck your energy and all of that kind of stuff, which will make you feel drained, which will make you feel sometimes not productive, you know? So in the morning, I sit there and I say things, you know, affirmations, and, you know, I raise my vibration before I sit there and look at something that might could throw me off in the beginning of your day. Because I feel like that's so important, because you wake up with a clear mind, a clear heart, you know, and you could sit there and do your best to sit there and set your vibration, right? So that's one thing that I encourage people to do. And once you start doing it every day, you'll start seeing how things will start playing differently into your life.
Do you have an example of a mantra that you would say?
So, you know, something as simple as, because I really sit there and I write things for people personally, or like, say, like when we have class, we'll collectively write the things that are going to tailor your day, because every day is your human experience. And that's what people got to sit there and they have to realize. Like, I can't live your experience. She can't live, you know, her experience. So how does Jess, or how does Loren, or any of the viewers, how do you want your day to start off? You know, and the first thing you can sit there and say is, I am so grateful that I woke up this morning. Because people sit there and they just take for granted waking up. Listen, I was a person that took for granted a lot of shit. I am happy that I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because there was a time when I was numb. You know what I'm saying? You know, or I was a time where I used to just not feel just happy about just waking up. You know, so that's one thing that I suggest, when invite everybody to sit there and get into a routine, because once you start doing it, again, it just starts to get routine. You start feeling better. You're putting positive energy out there. You're putting positive thoughts. You're putting positive intention out there at the first start of your morning. There should be nothing. I mean, even if you got to pee, just hold it. You know, make your affirmation long, make it as short as you want it to make it, but make it and sit there and stick to it. Because I'm telling you, after a couple of weeks of you doing it, it's like, now that I've been doing that, it would feel weird that I would pick my phone up and not go exactly to what I have my intentions for my days to be. And I'm telling you, since I have been practicing it, that, like, you know, faithfully since the beginning of this year, the things that I put out there, I have manifested. So, you know, even when there's times, right? Even when there's times where things become challenging. So that's why I really sit there and try to teach people, like, okay, be specific in what you ask for, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you can ask for a whole bunch of shit and it can come in all different types of ways. So, every day, and then also too, as an empath or as a highly sensitive person, if you're a person that feels a whole bunch of energy, and you feel like people are energy vampires, it's okay to go ahead and take a nap, like unplug, so you can reboot. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that drainage will burn you out. I know that you sat there and said, you are about self-care and self-love, but that's a form of self-care and self-love, is when you know that, what, I need a timeout. Like, enough is enough. Like, I need that for myself, because, you want to be the best version of yourself. You don't want to be the burnt out version of yourself.
I'm just tired of being that burnt out version.
Yeah.
I get nothing done. So I think that my mantra in the morning, it will always start with, today I'm going to be my most productive.
Yes.
I have to make moves. And
I will finish all of the tasks that I put forth ahead of me today. I'm so excited to do those things. Like, you have to, it's about how you speak, but it's also about how you feel, because you have to believe what you are saying, and those things will happen. Get pumped up about it. You got to be your own cheerleader. Like, I had to learn to be my own cheerleader. I had to learn to sit there and say, sometimes we're like, girl, you bugging out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to learn to be able to sit there and have those conversations and be honest with myself.
Can I say, for the viewing audience, would you agree that every statement should be a present tense versus anything else? Okay. Also, would you say be wary of putting words like don't, can't, won't, because the universe doesn't hear that, right? So we wouldn't want to say, today I won't get mad, because you probably will get mad.
Exactly.
So, exactly. For the viewing audience, let's make sure you understand some good positive statements to start your day would be, I am grateful for the roof over my head. I am grateful for being alive today. I am going to have a great day today. Hip, hip, hooray for me.
Yes. I'm so excited about this. Like, all of those things, and it's something that, you have to learn to do.
Energy out.
Yes. It's something that you have to learn to do, it's a work in progress, but I tell people, you're never wrong as long as you just sit there and you do it, and like I said, and you feel it. So
also, just so you know, I did make a video of all positive affirmations you can watch every day, and they're the ones from Louise Hay for each of your root chakra, all the way up and back down. So sometimes I suggest to people listening to that. That way you have an idea of some of the statements that might feel really good to you. I've noticed that the ones I need to work on, I want to like distract myself from, like, oh, that would be the moment I want to like, oh my God, where's my nail polish? Or whatever it is. Or I won't be able to say it. I'll start stuttering, or I won't be able to say it as strong. Be like, oh shit, that's the one I got to work on. So could always.
It's ironic you said that, because a while ago, Tamika was opening my chakras, and she was telling me to say certain intentions, and there were some that I absolutely couldn't get out, or I was stuttering, or it was like I was like starting to cry as I said them. So there's something to. That's something to say, as far as whatever's hardest for you to say. I think you got that right on the nose there.
Well, just so you know, I'm going to put the YouTube video link in the comment section. I'm going to switch it over just for a second. Obviously, it's a stupid looking link, but it's in the comment section. Yeah, so it looks really silly, but it's called Healing Your Life with Affirmations. That's the video. If you guys want to, it's there. You can always click it and watch it. Now back to everything else. But that way, if you want, I like people using that if they want, because then every one of your chakras has an affirmation that's healing, and you're kind of working on it. Would you also say, Tamika, that if somebody wants to do like looking at themselves in the mirror, looking themselves in the eye and saying them, do you feel that works better? Because I always felt like it did, but I wanted to ask you your thoughts on that.
Yes, I mean, visualization is amazing, whether you're staring in the mirror, whether you're just visualizing, whatever you're wanting to sit there and manifest. Some people are not comfortable looking in the mirror.
I
You know
am
what I
not.
mean?
That's actually why, that's why I
Especially-
started doing it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Especially when I talk.
Mhm.
And if I hear my voice, like if I watch these videos,
Oh, it's awful. I can't watch.
I cannot stand my voice. And I think it's because there's like I secretly like hate myself or something.
No, I
I'm like,
can't stand hearing my own voice
how
either.
do
Most
people
don't.
even like me? Like, I can't even tolerate me. It's
That's so funny.
just bizarre.
I have body
Where's your Mercury?
dysmorphia,
I
and
gotta look where your Mercury is. I have to look where your Mercury is, Jess.
Oh.
Yeah, no, but
wait,
she has a great, because she delivers really well.
yeah,
You know what I mean? She does, so.
do you remember what her rising sign was? Because I was trying to ask her what her moon and rising sign was. Do you remember, Tamika?
I think it was a Virgo or Libra. Oh, Gemini. I am like Gemini almost in every house.
Yeah,
but
I
was
have to
like,
look at your chart, because
Virgo,
if you are the Gemini, then that's why I love you so much. Like, oh my God, I fucks with Geminis. I do. Sorry.
That's cool. I was
do.
always curious because, like, my sun is Libra, my moon is Taurus, and my rising sign is Capricorn.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Okay, so no, that's not weird. A lot of Earth though. A lot of Earth. You got the Taurus, you said, right?
Yeah, that's
the
my moon
Taurus
sign.
and the Capricorn. So so your rising's Earth and your moon is Earth. And then what was the other one, baby?
Libra.
Oh, Libra. Okay.
Air.
Mm-hmm. All right, intellectual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's also why when we were talking before the show, me and her, about things she can do to like bring energy, I was saying to her, I was like, I also feel like depending what your majority signs are, if they're more like water or air, you might have different methods. Like one of my friends was much more like an earth water thing, and she was telling me to like hold on to rocks and you'll get energy, and it didn't work for me. What did work was like hugging a freaking tree or leaning against a tree or putting my feet in water. I was getting more energy. So that's why I was saying depending on what.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that feel like something? Okay.
Definitely with I'll sit there and look to see who has more energy, what you need to work a little bit more. Some people are really balanced, but then we need to look into what houses they're in. It's all fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm
Love it.
saying? Like putting the pieces together, because
my
be
God.
like, oh shit, like
That's why I got into psychology. Putting the puzzle together is just so fascinating to me.
Yes, it's
Amazing.
so interesting, because then if you're really open to it, you know what I'm saying? Then you're like, oh shit, like I am like that. Whether, you know what I'm saying, whether it's challenging or whether it's, not, whether it's positive or whatever, because, it is what it is, whether it's a contrast, you know what I'm saying? We have light, we have dark, like that's just life, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So the more you accept that shit, like, you know what I'm saying, the better off you'll be.
So I was talking to Tamika, Loren,
Yes, I'm excited.
about Lilith. And I was like, oh my God, because when you said light and dark,
yes, light
and
dark.
I was like, oh my God, wait, I remember this topic of Lilith. Is that something that you think would fit in this conversation?
If you thought of it, I would say yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know who you were talking to, but like, fuck yes. I love
Either
her.
one of you. Yeah. I know very little about Lilith.
Oh, my eye twitch. That's some good shit. Hold on. Okay, first of all, my joke is always, I go from Pollyanna to Lilith. If you cause me to go to Lilith, you fucking killed Pollyanna. There's no going back. Okay? I also believe that Lilith was like made at the same time as man and was like, fuck you, bitch. I'm my own individual. You suck your own cock. I am very much that individual. So, right. And I love her for that. So like when I talk about women needing to be super empowered, I'm like, listen, you need to stop buying the bullshit about Eve, and you need to be like, fuck yeah, Lilith. Like, right. That's my
Eve,
metaphor.
like, ruined the world. Ruined everybody.
In my opinion, a man said some bullshit and she agreed to it. That's my opinion. He was like, you better eat the apple. He came first, supposedly, so that means he fucking knew. Let's clear this up. Him and Lilith were born at the same time. God said, don't eat the fucking apple. They went, okay, she left because she said, fuck this bitch. He stayed there. He cried. God said, here's another person. He knew about the apple, told her, eat the apple. Then she eats the fucking apple and goes, he did it. And he goes, nah, and everybody goes, okay, it's her fault. That's what happened. And then they wrote it in a book because a man paid the money for the book. Okay?
Or
that's my pissed off opinion.
Or he was like, yo, God told me not to eat this apple. I want to see what happens if I eat this apple. How about you do it?
Yes. Yeah. But instead of telling her that, he gaslit the bitch. That was the first time of gaslighting. I'm mad. This is why cock cages were invented. More men need to wear cock cages. I'm sorry. This is what happens when we talk.
We love you, men.
Yes.
I'm in still.
Steps in the building. Lilith is speaking right now.
right. Yeah.
Let's breathe. But like the problem is, men don't understand that. I fucking love men. I mean, cock is golden. I love it. But at the same point, like, don't forget, I can bleed for 7 days and keep fucking living. If you bleed out of your taint for 7 fucking days, you're dead, dude.
You're dead.
So let's not act like you're superior, because if I whack that motherfucker, you're going down and I'm cackling. Don't act like it's going to be a fair fight, because your fair fight is in your prerogative. You're going, everybody should fight like this. I go, bam! You cry. I go, stop being a dick. Feel better now. And, you know, there's tons of guy friends. I have so many guy friends, and they all understand the concept of, like, don't be a dick. I won't act like a dick. We can be cool. That's all it really is. I don't need you to act disrespecting. I don't need the gaslighting, and I don't need the mansplaining. So don't act like I'm stupid, and I won't treat you like a little bitch. That should be a simple. See what happens when we talk about Lilith?
Yeah, I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I pet my own hair because it's calming. But Jess has seen me. We'll be at conventions and these guys will get trashed and they'll be massive coming at me. What are you going to do? I will rip your cock off and shove it up your own ass. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, now you're sorry. I shouldn't have to get to that point. And that's always my point about the Pollyanna versus Lilith, because this face, it can be all happy, light. I mean, I'm wearing a freaking, do you see this shirt? This is it. Right? Yeah, do your shirt. See? This is why we get along.
I got Scooby-Doo.
So, I mean, like, so you understand, we can have a childlike, loving part of us. Don't kill that. And then be shocked when I don't give that back to you no more. You ruined that stuffy. You broke that stuffy. Bitch, now you have fire to deal with. Don't be shocked you got burned. That's the point. And there's plenty of guys that don't do that stuff. They're plenty smart enough that they know, you know, just be respectful, be an equal. Don't give me shit. You won't get shit. And don't act like you can throw hands with me and then be shocked when I kick you out a fucking window.
Or shocked if I, you know, beat you at your own shit.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
or
I play games too. You know?
By the way, if you're gonna do hex jar work, this stuff is really good. Anyway, and bong water, use bong water, that stuff. Anyway, moving on. I will do a lesson in another day. I can't do it right now.
You literally have red hot in your room for a hex.
No, I don't. I was having hot wings.
My asshole.
Okay, in truth, it wasn't for a hex. I ordered Blue Tortilla, which is a Mexican place down the road, and it's like this huge burrito. And I ran out of hot sauce, and then I brought this down, and it's buffalo. No, you do not do that to a burrito.
It's not the same,
it's not the same.
If you need that heat, I guess you.
No, I left it off because I cried. I was like, it's buffalo. This is not how you do Mexican. And that's where it stayed because I'm mad at it. That's how you know it's the truth, because I'm like, and I'm hiding from myself. So, but I might go put it in my my drawer with the rest of the ingredients, you know, like cayenne pepper and moving on. But, you know, I have so many jars in one spot right now that when I had one of the dudes come over to clean my room, he almost knocked into them. He's like, oh, what happens if these knock into each other? I'm like, I steal your soul and put it in one of the jars.
Yep, that's it. You're done.
He's like, really? I'm like, well, no, that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, right.
You're gross, dude. And then, like, please leave my house because I have to calm down instead of killing you. But most of the jars I ever do are sweetening jars. Like, I have one to work on my relationship with money, because most people, and I think, Tamika, this is something that you probably work with people, is most don't realize that you have relationships with not just people, but thought processes, belief systems, and even everyday life situations like money or love, and to get off the topic of really hateful stuff, we should move on to like sidetrack. Let's go back to Tamika before I get us all in trouble. So I do believe that sugar jars are a good thing because you can bring sweetness to yourself. Like I have one for self-love and it's really made a difference. And I shake it. So I have I got a bracelet that is rose quartz. I put that in there. I put my name on it with my birthday. I put a lot of cinnamon in it. And I looked up a lot of different stuff that, the root work practice says works with each of these things. I did a lot of the Psalms that say it's supposed to help with that over it. And then I shake the jar a lot. I'll just stand there. I'm like, which is weird now with jingle bells.
I mean, I love herbs, working with herbs. I love working with candles. You know, I love working with
I always do candles on top. Yeah.
You know, have an altar, for your angels, your ancestors.
Yeah.
Just all of those things that just help, with, you just live in your positive everyday life, So I totally agree with all those things. I totally agree with just learning about the magic in the herbs and learning about the medicinal qualities of the herbs,
the spirit of it. Yeah.
The spirit of it, because there's so many times where we just sit there and believe, in taking, medicine, whether it be over the counter, whether it be prescribed. But if you sit there and learn the medicinal healing properties of things, you can make your own teas, or you can go to someone like a medicine woman to get your teas and all of those kind of things. So, even with me just being a person that is trying to heal things without taking any type of medication, I'm learning about, okay, so if I sit there and make a tea, with red clover and this, that, and the other, this is going to sit there and heal this, or it's going to help me with that. So I just think that, people should just be really open to sitting there doing that. I mean, because it's all natural. It's all, from the earth, And
it's funny you said that, because I actually did a video, and at first I felt stupid, but it's me making a cup of tea, but it's literally me doing kitchen witch magic. And I put pumpkin pie spice because it has cinnamon in it, nutmeg in it, ginger in it. And I put it in my hand and I think the intention into it. And then I put it in the cup. I put lemon in it because it also is self-healing. I put local honey. And then I think,
yes.
Then I put the hot water and I, think intentions into the cup as I stir it. And then I use tension tamer because it even has catnip in it. And then it has something that's a Chinese ingredient that starts with an E and it's not echinacea. And I don't know what it's called because I'm not going to even try to ruin it. But if you look for the tension tamer, it's on there and you'd be like, oh, that's what she's talking about. Anyway, so after that's all steeping, I put the tea bag in it, do another, and I stir it clockwise to bring in all the self-love, self-healing, pure healing energy. And then the person who's drinking this will be filled with. And then, and that's a simple way of doing some kind of kitchen magic, in my opinion. That's very inexpensive. I mean, pumpkin pie spice, quite frankly, I think is a dollar store thing. Totally fine.
Yes.
But in all those ingredients, one, it heals your system in a bunch of ways. The local honey does all sorts of incredible stuff, all those things. But that's one way that you can, in my opinion, and I wanted to see what you thought, that helps you reconnect with yourself. Because if you're doing every step with intention, then anything you're baking or making and putting into your system or giving to somebody else can be positive.
I mean, I have been on my spiritual journey for quite some time, but really being conscious of it, I feel like for the past, maybe about 5 years. And, because like I said, I'm a licensed esthetician, I touch people for a living, and then I felt
and she doesn't need an OnlyFans page for it. Sorry, go ahead.
Right.
I love you for not laughing. I was like,
yes, no, that's great. But I do, I touch people for a living. I'm Brazilian queen. That's what I do. Boop, 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 we're done. But the thing is, I felt like it was so important for me to sit there and learn about energy, also to be a natural vessel, for people. So I had to clean my shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to sit there and lay hands on people or even just energy to people, then I need to sit there and be the best version of myself. You know what I'm saying? So in saying those things, I started really paying attention to what I was putting into my body. And then also to how I was talking to my body.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because for years, I was not noticing that I was saying not nice things to my body or giving a fuck about what people were saying about it. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to sit there and really hone into, okay, Tamika Love, like what about me and the things that I feel, the things that I need. I can't, speak negative to my body if I want positive results. So I had to get into that. And then I had to start realizing, like, okay, why would I put something that might have a side effect into my body? We get this one body when we're here on this realm right now. You know what I'm saying? So I need to sit there and really pay attention to the things that I'm sitting here putting into my body, whether it's food, whether it's medication, whether it's even conversation. How about that?
Yes.
Right? You understand
Yes.
what I'm saying? How about that? Because
Yes.
I'm not going to absorb negative conversation. I'm not going to absorb negative energy. I don't care who you are.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? Like, so,
Sorry.
that's just not my vibe.
It's
And
not
So
that's
my
not
jam, not
what
my
I
belly.
need to sit there and be aligned to, because that's just not what my higher purpose and my higher self, that's just not what we want.
when you have to have difficult conversations
Hmm.
with people, how do you not absorb? 'Cause
Well, I'm totally
It's a
first
good
and
question.
foremost. I am a believer of wearing crystals.
Which
I
ones would you
definitely.
recommend?
So I always have something on that's like black.
Oh yeah.
Because
Okay.
that definitely sits there and repels any type of negative energy that is coming my way. You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely always have on. As you can see, I always have on like something. But I always, like I said, before I even go into any situation, even if it's just me getting outside, going to a store, whether it's like, Wawa, 7-Eleven, I always step out the car and say that, I'm protected and I'm going to have, a smooth transaction going in and out. I have focused and I have reprogrammed my brain to always just feel that way. And then if a challenge happens, I always, really try not to react. I really sit there and try to think about, whatever I'm going to do before I just automatically react. But I mean, that takes practice. And like
I
I
would
said,
also say,
that takes
go ahead.
learning your energies too, and what
Yes,
triggers you and all of that kind of stuff.
for sure. I would also say, and tell me if you agree or not. Um, my way of getting through it also is by saying, I don't care if my voice shakes or I cry. My point is still going to be made because it's valid, it's worth it, and I'm worth it to make it. So I'm going to get through it
Yes.
with the intention of they can belittle me, but it belittles them if they try. So even if I
Yes.
cry, I'm getting my message across because it was hurting more to stay silent and let it fester. So no
Yes,
matter
because
what,
crying, because again, if you want to get back into going to childhood, we're most of us are taught like, crying is weak, or
yep.
crying is,
I got my ass
like I
beat if I
said,
cried.
yeah, I'll shut up, I'll give you something to cry about. Or, I can go on and on with like certain phrases that, I can think about from my childhood. And again, I did not have a horrible childhood. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just things that, that you're taught to sit there and repress. But that's why people's chakras is all blocked the fuck up, because they sit there and they repress those things when they think crying is weak. So they don't want to release that thing. So therefore, a chakra is blocked up if you're holding that in. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to cry. So you're right. If your voice shakes, if you seem like you're like, it's even hard because you're stuttering, those things need to come out, because if you hold those things in, it's bringing damage to yourself. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with, showing any type of emotion. People are taught to sit there and suppress emotion. It is okay to sit there and release emotion, because if the more and more I feel like people sit there and they suppress it, when they do tick off, that's when the bomb drops. You
And it's
know,
toxic for your body
and it's
too, that way.
toxic for your body, and that's what gives your body dis-ease.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that walk around and say that they're sick, but that's a dis-ease they're putting on themselves. You understand what I'm saying? And that's not to discredit anything with people that have permanent damage, because there's things that permanently have happened to me. I just don't claim those things anymore because I'm not focused on those things anymore. I'm focused on the things that are good in me, you know?
I would also say, it's another one of those, if somebody is making you feel shitty or less than for crying or stuttering, if they can't allow you to get your side out with compassion, they are no longer worth your time in a
Even have
way,
them in your energy field, seriously.
because it shows that they are incapable of allowing compassion towards another, because it's somebody who does wouldn't need to do that to you. Right. So if I start stuttering, trying to say words, and I say, listen, I'm having a problem, and you're going, oh, look at you fucking crying. Boom, done. I am now no longer crying. This bitch is now Lilith, and I'm done. And I go, you're right. You're right. Look at this bitch crying. I'm out. And they're like, what? Oh, no. Now they're going to start coming at you like, oh, no, wait. Now we're done again. Because if we need to get to the point where I'm stepping and going, you already went too far. Yeah. And no one who loves and is healthy and compassionate is going to make you need to do those steps. So when you get in a moment with somebody, and tell me, how you feel about this, Tamika, and, and you're having difficulty having the words come out, and that person is getting shitty with you about it, you need to remember you still need to get the words out, but remember that how they're acting is not going to change. One of my exes said, right as he was trying to beat me to death, just because I told him no for something that made sense, that if he was going to change, he would have done it by now. So I'm just going to have to learn or die dealing with it. That is a mentality. Yes. Now, the problem is if you have to try to get it out and somebody's making you shitty for it, right there, that is the problem why you're crying in the first place, because you put you all into something that isn't giving anything back. And that's how come you're going to absorb all that toxic energy, is because they're bopping you with it. It's like bunny foo-foo. It's not the same as a healthy interaction. Like, tell me if I'm wrong, Tamika, but like if me and Jess were fighting and she's crying and I was like, okay, I'm listening, take your time, she'd be able to get the words out.
Yes, but let's be realistic. Like when people are like beefing or they're in a toxic, situation, like 9 times out of 10 they're triggering each other. So in a perfect world, there would be someone to be like, what, like this is like, you need to become balanced, and again, I try to sit there and do that, but there's times where I'm triggered and I have to, it's all about breathing though. So breathing is so important when it comes to when things get escalated, or when things when you're like trying to relay something and it's not being received, and then also too, a technique that I've been working on myself is to sit there, and even when I'm getting into a challenging conversation, with a person, is to immediately have to step outside myself and not take that shit personal. You understand? Right. Because when people take things really personal to the core, that's when things really can go left.
Yeah, because you're not being receptive.
You're not being receptive at all. So as hard as that is, you know what I'm saying? It's something that, I feel like, consciously people should really sit there and work on. And I will point that out if a situation comes to me and someone gives me a scenario. I tell people all the time, it's not your fault that you have been in trauma situations, but it's your responsibility to heal it. It's your responsibility to understand it, because if you want, because we are capable of breaking patterns. You know what I'm saying? We are very much capable of doing that. So like if something comes up that reminds you of some shit that you did not like how it made you feel, you did not like how that outcome came out, that's when you're present. And I think that's how we started off this podcast this evening, was about being present. Mm-hmm. It's so important about being present, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And even in situations where, like again, if something makes you heated, you know, and you want to cry, but the old you didn't want to cry, let that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing, people have to understand that, you know, you have to be in a situation where you feel like, okay, fuck it. You don't care if people judge you or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm here living this human experience. So I really don't give a fuck what nobody else thinks. And I'm going to live the shit out this experience right now. You know what I'm saying? It's all about sitting there being happy, being responsible. And again, like I said, setting boundaries, you know, with people. Learning yourself, because how do you expect people to get along with you if you don't know you, or if you're not being your true authentic self, you know? And I mean, you know, I really do believe that we are growing into the times again, like we said at the top of the hour, that things are changing. We are in an energy shift right now.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's really it's going down. So okay, so if you want to sit there and continue to be the way that you were, good luck with that. Because like good luck with that. Like, I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you didn't do some real soul searching and some changing during this 2020, when we all have been affected, it don't matter what color you are, what class you are in, and whatever you got going on, we have all been affected. Fuck have you been doing? What you been doing this year? Besides complaining or maybe feeding into the shit.
I know.
Yeah, you understand what I'm
Shit on
saying?
Facebook. I swear to God, I can't even scroll anymore.
Like, nah, like I wasn't sitting there giving any of that my vibration. So I have been directing, you know what I'm saying, my life into what I want it to be when, you know, shit, you know, sits there and gets to whatever it's going to be. You know, I wasn't going to feed into, you know, all of that stuff, because this is my life that I'm living. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I can't worry about, you know, other things that are negative, you know, because that's what's going to come into your experience.
And that's another one of those with intention that you can make anything happen.
Yes.
Before we continue on, because we don't have much time left, Jess, is there any other questions for Tamika at this time that you want to ask her?
No. There's a lot of things that I need to marinate, you know. It's hard when you're exhausted, but
but you know what? Tomorrow morning, what you gonna do?
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna start off with the affirmations in the morning, and then stew on the rest.
And stew on the rest.
Even when you start your first cup of coffee, that's another thing. It's the same thing as that cup of tea thing. When you pour the coffee, it's going to energize your day to complete the tasks. When you add whatever the fuck in as you're stirring it, that way when you take that first sip, the liquid putting in your body, because one of the things in Reiki, I think, you would agree with, is they give you a cup of water at the end that has like healing energy put into it that you're drinking afterwards.
I do all types. Well, first off, we are 70% water, right? So why not put your positive intentions into the things that you are drinking, especially water? You know, like I even got to the point where I even talked to my food, because I had a very horrible relationship with my body. You know, that could be another whole show. You know what I'm saying? So now I sit there and I speak things into what I am putting into my body. And if anything has taught me during this pandemic is that, you know, before this, I was working 6 days a week. I was always home. I mean, I was preparing food, but it wasn't like how I had to do that shit now, since we all here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't realize like how much love and energy I'm putting into my food and how it makes me feel better, because we don't know what the fuck people energies are that's preparing our food outside.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I really have thought about that. You know, like last year, it was a year ago yesterday that I had food poisoning.
Oh my God.
That shit took me out for 24 hours. It was woo. But then I realized, like, you know what? I have to understand that I need to start putting the things and putting my energy into my food, myself, because I understand that I'm clean and the loving vibration that I have going on. And when I do drink my water, I thank the universe that it's going down and it feels good and all that kind of shit. Yeah. I do that.
Tamika, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to definitely have you on again. And guys, please make sure you follow her on Instagram, House of Touch.
Yes, the House of
Instagram.com.
Touch. And Tamika Love on Facebook and the House of Touch on Facebook. And I hope that I'm able to sit there and connect with all you wonderful people out there. Yes. Let's have a pop in 2021.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to do everything with positive present intention.
That's right.
Because we don't want to go to Silent Hill no more. Nuh-uh. We want to have happy times. We don't want no Lilith freaking Silent Hill crap. And if you don't know what that means, you better start the show over. Anyway, guys, I'm Loren Molloy. This is my co-host,
Jessica.
And this is our special guest.
I'm Tamika Love. Yes.
And we love you guys. And until next week, every Tuesday, make sure you stay safe. And we'll see you next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Delve In Talk Show. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.